Hey, welcome back to the Leadership Sandbox. It is hard to believe that we are already in the month of March. Can you believe that we've made it to March 2025? And March Madness is right around the corner, one of my favorite times. And because I love watching some good college basketball. I love watching the throwdowns that happen. Go Zags. I always say that every year. My mom was a big Gonzaga fan, so that's probably why for me as well. And so go Zags. But drop it in the comments, whatever team you're rooting for this March Madness coming up. But if you're a leader who feels like you might be juggling flaming torches right now because we're riding this wild ride in the workplace, you've got AI every day coming at you. You've got teams that are, do we get to be hybrid? Do we get to work from home fully? Do we have to come back into the office and it's all over the media? You've got loud noises happening around you at any given turn. And hence the reason I thought I'm going to disrupt the sandbox today. And if you're watching this on video, you'll see I am in a completely different background. My recording studio is on the other side of the wall. And I decided to come into my office because I got to thinking, and part of why I wanted this whole conversation around resilience reset with you in the sandbox is because we are not lacking an opportunity in the world today to build our resilience to the chaos that's swirling around us. And right over here on the other side of me, to my left, there are windows, and it's right out to a busy street here where we live in Melbourne, Florida. And I work here, and I laugh, going, "Oh my gosh, the people in these big mufflers that like to drive by, and it disrupts my concentration." But you might have a different disruption in your workplace that causes you to feel like you're on this roller coaster, right? Maybe on juggling torches while riding a unicycle roller coaster. I have no idea what that means, but you're not alone. And if I were to say, hey, by show of hands, how many of you are hearing about this disruption or uncertain times, and it's something that you're just not sure how to work through, or your team might not know how to work through it with you? Yeah, I get that. And I hear that a lot. I actually just had a text message from somebody yesterday that said, "Hey, this happened in the office. And have you spoken with this leader yet about it?" And I'm like, "You're in the office in another state. How about you walk across the hallway and have the conversation with them?" Right. But the chaos, and the reason I bring that up is the chaos isn't slowing down. And it's the wobbly, how do we navigate the chaos right now in these always unpredictable times? I don't think that's the swirling that's going around. Golly, it's been going on for 5 years. Since 5 years ago was when we're at this very time when COVID dropped. And we're still in this swirling chaos. So what's that mean for us in the sandbox? Well, friends, I am here to tell you that in the sandbox today, I'm going to give you 3 tips, 3 tools that you can use to level set some of that chaos that might be swirling, so that we're building resilience in these times where tech's moving faster than we can blink. AI is rewriting half of our job descriptions, half of the job duty statements, and teams, well, they're scattered everywhere. And then you've got the, do I get to work hybrid? Do I not? And honestly, folks are feeling a little burned out. Did you know that 70% of leaders say that they're running on empty? Does that sound familiar to you? Well, today, I want to dig in with you about what empty is, what it is not. And I want you to know this, because here's the deal. It isn't about surviving the chaos or the mess or the swirling or the striving that's going on. It's about how do we thrive in it. And that's what I'm calling this resilience reset with you today. And I'm going to give you 3 tools to steady yourself and your team so that you know that the tools that I'm going to give you are going to be things you can implement immediately. And they're going to be tested right here in the sandbox. They've been tested. It's no fluff. It's absolutely straight to the point. And it's the stuff that you can use today to change your tomorrow, should you choose to. So just like I'm disrupting my environment, and I'm going to probably be rocking in this chair a little bit. Not the best. I like to stand when I record, if you've ever noticed. So I'm changing it up. I even have a patterned shirt on today, friends. And I know better than anybody, when you get on camera, you don't wear patterns on your clothes. You wear solid colors. So I'm being disruptive on purpose. because I'm also using it as a way to tell the story that we can disrupt our environment on purpose in order to build resilience for the next disruption that we may not have control over. I can disrupt my environment to get a little uneasy, right? To be a little different, because I'm building that tool of resilience that I need when disruption happens and I don't have that control over it. And as many of you know, if you've heard me and listened to me for any period of time, you know that we have a daughter that has special needs. And that has been a constant stressor for so many years with my husband and I, and with all of our family. And we've learned some tools on how to navigate, some not very well. But you want to know one of the best gifts, the greatest blessings that I have is when those moments of chaos come and I've learned how to navigate them, sometimes not super well, other times I'm doing better than others. But when I've learned how to navigate that, just like you as a leader get to learn in your workplace how to navigate the uncertain times and the chaos, you get to use it and bless and gift somebody else with it. And that's one of the things that I think is so important as we look at building our kind of doing this resilience reset. So we can just look at, okay, here we are. There's a lot of things swirling, a lot of chaos going on. Now what? What am I going to do with it? When we build our resilience and we do this reset to know that and you're going to learn the 3 tools from me today, you then get to share that with somebody else, because you never know. Like, I had a call from a former client of mine about a month and a half ago now that asked me if I had any specific experience dealing or working with kids with ODD, oppositional defiance disorder. And he and his wife are going through some stuff, and they've got a child, one of their kids, that's showing signs, right? That there are some challenges ahead, and really challenged to how do we navigate that? Are we okay? How do we make sure that all the kids are okay? I was actually able, and I have been able to spend time with them talking about our experience of navigating that chaos and uncertainty. And here's why I share that with you, friends, is you as a leader in the workplace, you may not have the same experience that Tammy has, but you have a different experience. And you have an opportunity to share it with your team, to be real and relatable with your team or with others, maybe in your community or others in your office building or at the coffee shop that might hear and know about something you have walked through, and they might want your help. Be available, because I think when we're available, I know that when we're available to help others because of the experience that we've had, that's one of the great ways that we show, wow, we've really come through some things and I have more resilience than I realize. And sometimes this whole chaos that's swirling, right? It's that stuff that makes us stronger and helps us to step into the parts of our life that we want to and need to for correction, but also step into to help others. It's part of, I believe, even our new leadership currency, how we use the resilience tool to develop self and others in our workplace or in our community. It's a new leadership currency. Hey, leader, if you're navigating tough conversations and it feels like a struggle, I want you to know I've got you covered. I've got your back. I've created a communication starter pack designed to give leaders and managers the tools that they need to communicate with confidence, clarity, and real impact. So I want you to head on over to bondgroupenterprises.com and grab your starter pack today. It's time to lead conversations that matter and get the results you deserve. So today in the sandbox, I want to take you in through the 3 tools that I have found that have helped me to be grounded, right? That's helped me to reflect on what's value and important for me during times of chaos when there's spinning going on. And right now, you might be hearing it. I mean, let's be real. If DEI is going away, what are we replacing it with? But not just that. If it's going away, what's that doing to the mindset of the people in your work environment? And how do you help them? I'm going to give you a resilience reset tool for that. Because resilience isn't just a buzzword. It's something that's been building in us for a lifetime. And I want you to think about it this way. If 2025 is throwing curveballs daily, And really, I'm going to offer for the last 5 years. 1 minute, you might be looking at supply issues. And the next minute, you might be looking at, I've got an overflooded inbox. And the next minute, is AI going to recast my job to, in our home or in my colleague's home that contacted me, or my friend, former client, let me get that right. There's stuff going on with families at any given moment. And you've got people coming in going, hey, how do I handle this? What's the plan? You've got noise outside your window or outside your door that you can't control, but it's having an impact on you. Understanding that you have resilience in you and you can tap into more than just grit, because it's not about grit. It's really about adaptability. It's about having the flexibility, right, to manage in your environment in a way that you're managing not just the moment, but you're also managing your energy so that you don't have that crash. Because if 70% of leaders are saying they're at, they're at that overwhelm, they're at that chaos is too much, they're burned out, or they're burning out, they're flaming out. That's a big deal, and that impacts all of us. So I want to get real for a second. Not that I'm not always real, but for just a second. Last month, I hit a wall. I hit a wall on a personal side, and I had a moment. I had a moment where I was questioning myself. I was questioning, what am I doing? What's my purpose? I don't know if you're like me, but every once in a while I go back to that. I go back to some of those old thought patterns that no longer serve me, because there's a familiarity to that. And what I ended up doing was looking at my dogs and having a moment where I'm just like, hey team, because sometimes my dogs are my best team. I'm not going to lie, love my team. And sometimes my dogs are just my people. And I'm like, we got to figure out what to do here. There was just a lot of pressures coming at a time when I didn't feel like I was ready or able to navigate it. I don't know if you've ever felt that way. If you haven't, I bet there's people on your team that have. And so what got me out of that, besides just going outside, walking the dog, hanging out with the dogs, truly, my dogs were significant in this moment. But I wanted to get to that place where I was intentionally reminding myself. And I said, hey, this isn't about hustle harder, Tam. This is about being intentional with a reset. And it brought me back to what I know is necessary. And that's what I want for you today. It's not about the old playbook of how I pressed through and pushed through and got to the grind until, it was the moment passed. I needed something different. I wanted to be smarter about it. And so what I did was one of the first tools that I'm going to teach you on my Sandbox reset, right? Your resilience reset. Here's tool number 1 to help you thrive when those moments hit, when the noise gets loud and it hits. It's going to just take a few minutes for you to do this, should you say yes to it. All right. Because I also want to say this to you. Having those moments where you question everything, if you're like me, they happen. And I think for passionate people, they probably happen more than maybe we even give it credit for, because we push so hard and we go on all cylinders so long. We're looking for ways to reset, to recharge. We have that moment of question. And it's something I want you to know, I guess, bottom line it here too. Your brain is not built for, 8-hour marathons of grinding, and science backs this up. Our focus runs out in 90-minute cycles. So if you've ever noticed that you're sharp in the morning like me, but then by 2 p.m. you're, drooping off, like you're waning in your energy level, that's the rhythm of your body, right? It's actually your natural rhythm. And when you own that, when you understand that, you then know how to navigate those 90-minute time blocks. You've heard me talk about it before. I've started doing more with the 90-minute blocks of time so that I think about, okay, I'm going into the studio to record. I've got 90 minutes to really brainstorm, and I get my notebook and I sit down and I work on it. And then for 90 minutes, I stop. At 90 minutes, I stop. I step back. I take a breath. I go outside. I get some fresh air. I drink more water, right? Then when I come back to the notes that I put in place in 90 minutes, then when I come back in and step back in, I've got that creative, fresh breath again, and that creativity starts flowing. It's really about how I use that. So give it 90 minutes, full focus, then stop. Walk away for 10 minutes. See what happens. Push the pause button. That's your recharge. And I want you to trust me on this. It's a game changer. So for me, I'm grateful where I live. I live in an environment where I can 12 months of the year walk outside and it's usually sun shining, right? I mean, and if it's not, it's not super cold or you know, I love cold weather places, but sometimes it's really hard to just go out and get that fresh breath of air because it's so dang cold at -7 degrees like it was 2 weeks ago when I was up in Iowa. But here's what I want you to know. You can change your rhythm. Your natural rhythm is we work in those 90-minute blocks of time. And that's where we have energy. When you know that you are a morning person or you're a midday person, don't do your heavy thinking first thing in the morning. Make your blocks of time when your brain wakes up fully and you're engaged with it fully. That's one way to start building that momentum that helps serve you. Okay. Tool number 2. It's a 1-question check-in tool. And this is what I want you to know about it. Friends, you know I love a good, powerful question. And the 1-question check-in for you, for your teams, it's a real game changer for you because your teams are stretched thin. Whether they've got meeting and Zoom fatigue, whether it's are we working hybrid, are we not, what's happening and swirling with AI, you can't fix everything. But what you can do is find the way to connect. And 1 question helps people to connect. And that is this 1 question. Tell me, what's one thing that's draining you right now? Let me say that again. If you ask this 1 question to your team members, to your colleagues, tell me what's one thing that's draining you right now, and take 30 seconds to just listen to them. I don't know what's draining me. I want you to take 30 seconds and think about it. I'll follow up with that because they may not have an answer right away. But it takes 30 seconds to ask the question. Give them a minute or 30 seconds to think about their answer and let them respond. Play with it with them, right? Let them come to you with what that is. Because if you imagine if I'm your coach and I'm checking in with you and I'm just asking you, hey, friend, what's one thing that's draining you right now? You might say, you know what's draining me right now, Tam? It's that I've got all these messages, this email that I got it, and I just don't understand. I don't have the time. Got it. So what is it that we can do with that? What's one way that we can help to manage that? I can talk that through with you so that you come up with the strategy of how to navigate the one thing that's draining you. And sometimes it's just bringing word to the drainage. That sounded weird. Word to the thing that's draining you to create the strategy to resolve it or manage it. I maybe can't resolve for you all of the emails in your inbox that drain your energy. But what I can do is help you build a strategy on how to manage it and how to ask for the help that you need from the people around you. That's how you start to show people and build with people their own resilience. So as a leader, as a manager of others, it's important that you provide these tools because the distractions and the loud noises that are around us drain that energy. And what we want to do is remind people they have the power and authority over themselves to bring their energy to a whole new level should they choose to. So that's how you help to build resilience in others by reminding them one human moment at a time. Build that connection. It's so important. And here's tool number 3. I'm going to call it the chaos filter. You might have some issues where chaos is swirling around, and leaders right now are drowning in the noise of it. The urgent pings and crisis. And, I tell people all the time, please turn the ping off your phone, stop it, because that actually adds to the chaos in your brain. It's really important that you ask, though, in those moments through these 3 questions of filter. It's a filter that you can use. Here it is. 1, is it urgent? 2, is it impactful? And 3, is it mine to solve? So if things are constantly coming at you, having those 3 questions is a key to know how to navigate them. Is it urgent, right? Is it impactful? And is it mine to solve? Because if it's not at least 2 of those 3, then it's up to you to delegate it or drop it. If it's not one of those 3 things for you, it moves off to somebody else or moves off completely. That's it. So here's how we sandbox this. In my inbox, it has been exploding with guest requests, people that want to come on this podcast, which makes me laugh. On multiple levels, why it makes me laugh. But I laugh when I see these because I'm thinking, okay, first of all, they don't know how to pitch themselves. Second of all, I go and listen to them and I'm like, really? You think you're a fit? Third of all, I don't have time to go through all of those things. And maybe that should be my number 1. So if my inbox is exploding with all of these people who are pitching me to be on the Leadership Sandbox podcast, is that urgent? No. There's no deadline to it. There's nothing. Is it impactful? I mean, maybe it probably would be good to have other voices on here. And I'm looking at who to do that. We have more coming in our March Madness month. But is it mine to solve? No, I can actually transfer those to a team member to go through and give them that, which I've done. These people are asking to be on the podcast. Go through, look at them on socials, take a listen to work that they've done before, and let me know if you think that they'd be a good fit. Then they come back to me instead of me going through all of that, right? So I can toss it someone else's way and it's done. Took me 10 seconds to look at it, not even 5 seconds to go pitch forward, right? So here's what you can do with this, friend. You can pick one thing that might be a stressor for you today. And I want you to look at it and I want you to run it through that filter. Because if it's for you to solve, if it's not urgent, right? If it can be given to somebody else, then it moves off yours. It's not going to be impacting your energy. And I think you'll be amazed at how much chaos you can let go of when you get a framework in place to be able to navigate what's coming at you. Whether it's the noise outside the window, whether it's the noise of somebody knocking on your door, whatever that is, you have the ability to do a resilience reset, recharge in 90 minutes, right? Your 90-minute block of time, check in with self and others with the question, right? The one question, learn how to filter out chaos with the 3. And here's what I want you to know. These 3 tools, straight from the sandbox, are built for today in 2025, the wild ride. You don't have to be a superhero. Just be a leader who is flexible, who bends. You won't break. And here's my challenge for you. I want you to think of a palm tree. That's what I want you to think of. I want you to think of a palm tree. Palm trees in the wind, and I have some right outside my window. They bend and they bend and they bend, but they don't snap. They're tall and lean and they sway in the wind. They're very flexible. They don't snap, right? They don't snap under pressure. What they do is they're flexible to bend with the times as needed. And then they come back upright to their straight position. That 90-minute block of time for me, because I know my energy level is probably my favorite. Of course, I love questions too. But when you can find that one thing that you're going to put into place today to do a resilience reset, I want you to make sure that you connect with me and tell me what that is. If you have questions about it, if it doesn't make sense and you're going, Tam, I don't understand how this is helping with my resilience. Well, I'm going to tell you. When you are building up those tools for you, again, back to the story I shared about my friend that reached out, former client, asking for help with their kid. I was actually able to assist because I've worked on me enough to know. And it was a hard yes. I mean, there was no way I was going to say no to my friend. It was an absolute yes. I'll step in and have a conversation with you so that I can give the tools I've had to somebody else. That's also another way to remind me, wow, look at the growth I've had. Look at the resilience that I have now that I didn't used to have. And I'm so grateful. And you are that for somebody else. So as you do your own reset, I want to encourage you. These are supposed to be used as tools for the other people around you as well, so that you can build up others as you're building yourself up to having an amazing, amazing March, amazing rest of 2025. And I'm excited about what's coming in the rest of this month because it's March Madness. There's probably going to be something about basketball, even though I am so not the expert, but go Zags. How about that? Hey, thank you so much for joining me in the Sandbox today. I'm always honored when people take time out of their day to join me in the Leadership Sandbox as you up-level your skill sets, your mindsets into the level of leader that you want to grow into. You know, leadership isn't something that you're born with. It's something that we grow into with every decision and every conversation. And I want to thank you and acknowledge and celebrate that you took time to grow into your next level of leadership in the Sandbox today. Friends, it would mean a lot to me if you would share this, like this, share this, comment, and share it with someone that could use a resilience reset today. Share this episode on your socials, tag me in it, because I love to celebrate when people are expanding the sandbox and awareness to the Leadership Sandbox and the tools that we share here today. So I want to thank you for that. I want you to also head on over to bondgroupenterprises.com and check out the tools that we have there on your communication starter pack. And we've got some programs that are going to be launching here at the end of March, and I'm really excited to be bringing those to you. So keep an eye on our socials, whether it's LinkedIn, Instagram, Threads. Also keep an eye on the website because there will be more information coming there about programs that are launching that you can do from your comfort of your desk or your home. I would say not your car, but wherever you find that you want to listen and tune in to get some new tools and resources on how to up-level the conversations you have every single day. I want to thank you again for joining me in the Sandbox, and I will see you next time in the Leadership Sandbox. God bless you and make it a great day.